That was the piece titled Zanzibar by Jones Meadow, welcoming you to Semzima Network Show, also known as STNS. We are the product of Comesa GOC International Pty Limited, a human capital development, management and leadership consulting company based in Gauteng province of the Republic of South Africa. To learn more about us, you can visit our group website, www.comesa-goc.com. Greetings and welcome to the talk on leadership. I want to spend some time looking at leadership succession and development opportunities as an imperative for business and national continuity mitigating factor. What do we understand of the leadership succession, development, imperative and continuity mitigating factor? Does it matter? Let us reflect on the past generational leadership handovers, planned or by chance. What are the lessons to be made and why are we deviating from such best practices? Why do we have global organizations like United Nations, African Union, Atlantic Council, etc., at the global leadership level? There were some burning issues around leadership that made the world to group itself into those structures and make sure that some of the leadership practices by certain leaders in the world are not disadvantaging the world as large. How crucial it is for preserving our legacy. Are we confident that our historical leadership achievements, if they exist, will be preserved for generations after us? We are reminded of great leaders of the past. In South Africa, we think of the great leaders like Shaka, King Sekhukhune, Kim Moshweshe, etc. We have inherited these great historical leadership stories, and we are proud of them. But we are not challenging ourselves enough to add to this reservoir of heritage. Instead, we are ravishing what they stood for. Why are we so casual about our leading role? Or let me rather say linking roles to transitioning to our heritage. What are the problems of entitlement to leadership? Just because of our politically belonging to political parties, even if it is clear that we do not have leadership competencies. The people who are undeserving of leadership have a tendency to have entitlement mentality and even threaten to become dictators in their organizations or countries. And indeed, at country level, they are likely to create conditions to stay forever in leadership. This creates crisis for such countries and world order. The time has come for us as human beings to once again elevate the importance and seriousness of leadership in the world. It cannot be that we leave the gap for wrong people to lead us. Political parties have a duty to provide the best leadership to the society. That is the single most important deliverable they must make possible to humanity, failing which the society has a way of resolving this dilemma. And that is when the history books are rewritten. So leadership is about power, that is clear. But let us be reminded that power can be too enjoyable and power corrupt if not well understood. As a society, therefore, we must guard against leaders who bask in the pleasures of leadership, for they are likely to refuse to let go of it when it is time to do so. We must make it uncomfortable to remain in the leadership positions. Changeover must be a given in our progressive societies. When leaders refuse to develop people below them to take over leadership roles from them, they are denying the society, the country, and organizations the opportunity to grow and experience change. Great nations indeed allow new leaders to emerge and lead them into the new eras. The current leaders must be worried about the foundation or lack of it for the leaders following after them. It is this current leadership's duty and a huge responsibility to prepare for handover, and this is not fun. So what happens when the society loosens up on the quality of the leadership? The nation perishes, and it loses importance among other nations of the world. Who would have thought that South Africa will find itself in a junk status economically after such a great start in 1994, being led by the late President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela? So, the lesson is this. It is possible to disappear as a great nation if one is not careful. It is important to understand that the world owes you or us nothing. So we do these things to ourselves. I, for one, do not want to be remembered for having contributed to the demise of our beautiful country in as far as leadership responsibility is concerned. The apartheid masters cannot be happy in their graves, for they purposefully denied South Africa the opportunity of becoming a great, diverse, multicultural country long time ago. Those who are still today dreaming of the apartheid South Africa of yesteryear are mischievous in my view. They know that they are not genuinely acting in the interest of South Africa. They are selfishly defending their own interests. It is not about politics. It is about personal gains. What do many leaders do when it is the time for them to go and they do not want to? They create chaos and make themselves indispensable. Whose interest, therefore, do they serve? Definitely not that of their organizations, country, or society. They serve their own agendas. Such leaders are dangerous to the future of the organizations, countries, societies, and the world. They must be challenged head on. Transition of leadership to young people after us is not something to debate about. Our forefathers managed to trust us, and they let go and handed over to us. So what is wrong with our generation? Why do we fear handing over knowing very well that we are one day going to die and leave this world in the hands of our children. Even at the individual level, this is about position you are holding at your company or your organization. You must not wait until you are told that the time is over and you must pack, retire, and go. That will be unfortunate if you are acting it out, pretending that you do not know that it is time to groom and hand over to someone younger than you. Therefore, let us be reminded that the identification of the next layer of leadership, succession and transition management thereof, is the responsibility of the incumbent leaders to effect. Failure to do so is an indictment of the current leadership. The society will see through us and such failures and will not pardon us for this ignorant and careless conduct. Even your children will hate you for it and will not forgive you in your grave. So let us do the right thing. Prepare our youth and freely hand over the ropes to them while there is still time. Then our role, for as long as we are still alive, is to mentor and share our wisdom with them. In that way, we will live longer and be appreciated by them as the wise men and women of the society. Otherwise, they will despise us. These challenges are at all levels of our society: global, continental, national, country, organizational, and family levels. Sometimes we are politically trapped in the good things of the world that we behave as if we are of this world. We forget that we have the opportunity to be immortalized. That does not happen on its own, though. We earn it as a result of good deeds while we are still alive. For example, today, everybody reveres Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, Prime Minister Winston Churchill, etc., including those who hated them during their times. But these people, these leaders, are immortal. They did things that value the humankind while they were still alive. I'm therefore convinced that structures like youth development programs, agencies, are extremely important, and they are meant to safeguard the good work that we will have done as leaders that we want to live in this world. I do hope that I've challenged you. I am making you think seriously about your role as a leader and motivating you to want to do the right thing. And that is identify people below you or in your society that could be groomed and be prepared to take over from you, preserve your legacy, and continue handing over the burden to future leadership and of generations after them. That's the best you can do in your time. And then leave the pressure and the burden on them to do the same. So the dialogue with the young people around the responsibility to transition from one generation to another is extremely important. If it hasn't been done before, let it be done with us and let it start with us. And I believe in that way we can leave this world peacefully, knowing that we have done our part and hoping that some among our young people will safeguard what we believe in. Thank you for listening to my podcast. We invite you to follow Semtima Network Show, also known as STNS, so that you can receive notifications when the future episodes are being published. You are welcome to contact us at the mobile number +2772 376 7503, or send us email at callcenter@cometa-goc.com. Call center is spelled CALLCENTRE, and it is at cometa-goc.com. Cometa is spelled COMETSA, and is -goc.com. You may also visit our website to see what Cometa GOC International Pty Limited is all about by checking on www.cometa-goc.com. We look forward to connecting with you in the future. You take care. Goodbye, and we're checking out with another beautiful song titled Broken Trust by Holman. I hope we're not going to break our trust, and we are going to always be mindful of the fact that we must trust our young generation, our youth, and therefore hand over the responsibility of leading us into this new world of the fourth industrial revolution. Goodbye and take care.